came in because I know your brother or your sister, we are friends, we are the same age, we grew up together. Oh, sure, I'm going to take you first.
Okay.
What's so sad, the adults don't recognize the impact that you can leave on anyone. And this is why I did not bury my head in the sand so like an ostrich,
Mm-hmm.
because I knew the people had to hear what I had to understand and know what to do in circumstances such as that type.
Mm-hmm. When you think back of those days, what lesson did you learn at such a young age?
I learned that people, adults, really did not understand and
Mm-hmm.
that they didn't want any part of the unknown. I recognized that. So I knew I had to continue being myself and build a tower
Mm-hmm.
around me so that I can let them know that, hey, it's okay. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
I am not my own. I am a savior.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was put on this earth to live life, and by golly, I am living life.
Yeah. Well, I've been able to say openly how I feel about you and how much I admire, and I think my sister had. But here's a note from a classmate, my sister, to you that she wrote to me today, and I'm going to read it to you. Aseli, I'm delighted that you've joined Yvette on the show today. The friendships we created during our days growing up in Rainbow City were priceless. Our children will never know what it is to fight with someone today and be friends again later in the week. We never held grudges, and above all, we respected and loved each other. Acelia, our history together to me is priceless, but I'm thankful that the bond we forged over 40 years is still strong. Se te quiere un montón, mi negra. From Michelle. So,
Oh
I
my.
don't know how many of us will have the opportunity to let you know what an inspiration you were, what a shining light you were. And I'm glad that you were able to join me. And then, when you sent me your bio, I realized, oh my God, and she kept doing this through her life. Because, you worked at Gatun Locks. What was that like?
Yes, that was awesome. It was awesome. You couldn't touch me. However, there was one person that will pass by and look at me as if I was nothing and grumble under his. You should hear him. Oh, what did she think? She thinks she's all that. In fairness, she was saying, "And if I say,
Mm-hmm.
and and carrying on, and I would look at him and I cowered a bit because it was usually during an isolated moment when I saw him.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's working. He saw me taking a break, and he spoke to me. So I'm not gonna start a fight or anything. If I was ready to run to begin with. However, I was traveling on the train. Do you remember the train from me?
Yeah, from Cologne, Panama. Mm-hmm.
I went on the train because I had to take care of some business, and I was swinging a hanger outside the window,
Mm-hmm.
and someone approached me and tapped me on my shoulder. And I turned around, and it was that very same person that detected me on the job.
Mm.
Now this is a different setting now. We're not even at work where someone can come to my defense. So I said, may I help you in Spanish? I was
Mm-hmm.
very, how I stood tall, even though
Mm-hmm.
he was much taller than I am. Body language was a lot to me right then and there. But he said, I don't want to disturb you, but I would like you to do me a favor. I said, you're asking me for a favor after all this time, the way you have been treating me, you showed me that you despise me. He
Mm-hmm.
said, no, there is a problem. I have this lady, right, that I have a problem with her arm. I said, and is that my fault? He said,
Mm-hmm.
no, could you please do me a favor? Could you please just come and talk to her? Because she wrapped her arm around with a leather coat. Now, a leather coat in Panama, you are melting.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
said, I'll only do it because of her.
Her.
So
Mm-hmm.
I walked over to the young lady and I introduced myself to her, stating that I am her husband's co-worker.
Mm-hmm.
I then stated that I started to work at a certain time and I did carpentry and so forth. Never touched the topic about the arm, her arm covered
Mm-hmm.
up. She stared at me and looked at me up and down, and I know what was rolling through her head. She was probably saying, boy, she can walk around with a prosthesis. I can do it too.
Absolutely.
Throughout the conversation, she automatically
Oh, wonderful.
I decided that was the best method instead of drumming in because this lady did not even know me from a can of paint.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he became my best friend.
Yeah. And how, and then you talked about you worked at AHRC for many years.
Yes.
Michelle remembers you being a fabulous dancer, and you talked about wanting to dance. You're an electronics engineer. Like what? Nothing stopped you. That arm didn't stop you, and nothing else stopped you. Like
actually.
Mm-hmm.
Spain. I always love the idea. I like dancing. You should know that.
Yep.
I love dancing.
Yep.
I dance.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to go to the School of Performing Arts.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it was in New York. Right? And, so I moved to New York permanently, right, as a child. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to explore such. But you know what I found? I can continue dancing. I do continue dancing, but I find that people are the most important subject for me, most important for me. Being disabled, I could use it for a purpose. I could show, because I am the type of person that's not afraid to walk around with a prosthesis or without it. Mm-hmm. And when I'm among so many people, they're asking, "You're my staff? You're my supervisor? You were this?" People with so many types of disabilities will ask me questions. How do you do that? Aren't you afraid of what people will say? The people will always have something to say. That can be good too, But the one thing, like I even instilled in my daughter that I still say today, is that know who you are. Because
absolutely.
Every one of us has a great potential. Every one of us has something to offer.
Yeah. That actually speaks, I tell you, to, this show is that your soul, if you're clear and you tap that soulness in you, then no one can break you. No one can shake you. And if you're so aware of making that connection, then you can do above and beyond. And even though you as a child may not have had the words to describe your ability to navigate a society that wanted to box you in, you did it as a child and you've done it as an adult. When we talk about what we're seeing in today's society, on just women in general, but it's very specific because you're a Black Latino woman with a disability. That creates a level of complications from a societal point of view. From your point of view, you navigated it with no problem. What is that message? What is that message that you would want to, this is, like I said, this is probably going to be a two-part, but what is that message that you want to leave today? Because, right now, we as Black women, Latina women are being labeled in very negative ways. And here you are, the shining star in my eyes, my sister's eyes, and probably many of the folks that are listening to this show today. What is that message that you want to leave us with today?
What I have to say is, first of all, I'm going to reiterate this: know who you are. If you don't have a clue, you still have time to search deep inside of you. It's okay to like what you like, as long as it's not harmful towards you. It's okay. If you don't know an answer, please ask someone. It is imperative that you get to know. It is important to understand what you need to ask and what you need to know. An example of that is, if you're going to the doctor, you want to be able to decide specifically what is wrong with you. And not say, like, if you go to the doctor and your kidneys are bothering you, and the doctor says, show me where your kidneys are, people are going to show a different area. You just got to be sure of exactly what's hurting. It goes along with ask questions, study, read, and not be afraid. Do not be afraid, because you are important too. Do not be afraid, because everybody gets scared. You're not awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are awkward, that's okay.
Absolutely.
That's okay. Stand firm, stand strong.
Mm. Thank you so much for joining me. I know it's not going to be the last time because I know we're going to want you back to deliver more messages of inspiration. Thank you so much for being an inspiration to me, and I could definitely say that you're an inspiration to my sister. And it's so funny because it's like you and Michelle, and then Yolanda, and then Marta, and it's like, and Arturo. It's like the whole family was such an inspiration on different levels. I would have to have Yolanda on because when I think about how much I loved my hair braided, it came from her braiding my hair when we were kids. And Marta being the joy that she is. So, Mr. and Mrs. Howell are smiling because they did well. They did really well, and you continue to show how well they did, and you continue to show how well you've done in your movement. Not only on the dance floor because it's a some good movement on the dance floor, but also in the movement in society. So thank you so much, querida. Much love, much admiration, and we hope to have you back soon.
Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it.
Much love. Take care.
Okay, bye.
So there you go. That was the interview. That was Acelia Howell Parker, childhood friend from Rainbow City. Just, I had to hold that one together, Hassan, because she means the world to me, to so many. She's been a true inspiration. We've come to the end of the show, but what a great show to start off on a Wednesday. We talked what we do, and the kind acts that we always close with is, that Hassan and I continue to figure this out and continue to bring the soulful happenings to you. And another kind act was my weekend spent with two of my dear friends, Marta and Michelle, where Michelle made fiambre, which is a traditional Guatemalan Day of the Dead meal. And that was just a wonderful, they're my great escape when I'm with both of them. We wish you a good rest of the week, and continue to tap your light, stand in your light. And as Acelia just said, do not be afraid because you are important too. And stand tall, my folks, stand tall. Much love, much admiration, peace. We will see you next Wednesday.